What's up, guys? I know it's been quite some time, but the guru's back. Let's get it.
So the other day I was watching the Mavs versus the Lakers. I'm not really a Lakers fan. I actually hate them, and I don't care too much for the Mavs. But it was a game that everybody was waiting for, and I wasn't even sure why. I mean, the Lakers had a much better team. The Mavs are depleted with injuries, and Kyrie's not there. So for me, I thought it was going to be a mismatch. The Lakers just got too many weapons with Reeves, with LeBron and Luka. It was just a total mismatch. But I was curious, so I tuned in. And what caught my eyes during that game, it wasn't even the play. What caught my eyes was Luka crying at the beginning of the game. See, it's time we stop normalizing all these grown men crying all over TV or on social media. This is quite honestly getting out of control and it's quite pathetic. Everywhere you go, there's a dude crying. If it's not Luka crying, it's Tyrese crying about his wife. If it's not Tyrese crying about his wife, it's some random dude on social media crying because his girl left him. If it's not that, it's Kirk Herbstreit crying on TV, on national TV. See, Kirk Herbstreit crying was just, I couldn't understand why. When Ohio State won the national championship, this dude was on ESPN crying, emotional. Why? Kirk Herbstreit was the Ohio State quarterback 30 years ago. Since he left the program, they've won the championship twice. That's not even counting the last one that they just won. They won in 2002 and they won in 2014. This is not even some program that never wins. This is a program that's won 9 national championships before. You're crying on national TV for what? It's pathetic. See, I don't care what people say about mental health. They can say whatever they want. To me, men crying for no reason is actually quite weak. We live in a world where there's suffering everywhere. There's problems, especially living in America, where we live and pay just to pay bills. People are living dead. People are living with minimum wage. If it's not paying bills, it's cancer. If it's not cancer, it's your kid at school doing some stupid stuff. If it ain't your kid doing some stupid stuff, it's your daughter dating some dude who wear nail polish. There's always issues in America, and you're the head of the house. You are the symbol of strength in the house. You should not be crying. To me, that's just weak. And the look of crying left me very perplexed. You're crying because the team don't want you and they let you go? Because you came to training camp weighing 260 pounds? Looking like Lizzo and Nick Bosa put together? He brought that on himself. I wouldn't pay a man $245 million if he went through a whole offseason, came back to training camp weighing 265. How do you come to training camp weighing 265? You're 25 years old. Okay, you don't got a lot of kids. It's not like you're 30 and you're going near the end of your career. You're at the peak of your career. That means I understand the season is over. You go to vacation. You go to Cancun, you go to Cabo, you have fun, you get on a boat, you get a little weight. I understand that. But as the season gets near, you start ramping up your workout. You start running more. You're trying to get back into shape. If you come to training camp weighing 265, that means you didn't run at all summer. That means you don't care about winning. And I agree with Dallas 100%. I'm not paying you $345 if you don't wake up every day thinking about basketball, thinking about what can I do to get better. And he doesn't. And for those of you who remember, Luka was picked 4th in the NBA draft. And a lot of people criticized that decision. And this criticism was justified. Why? Because first of all, Luka, the American public didn't really see him that much because he was playing in Europe. He was picked a little too high for their liking. He was not athletic, very slow, and not explosive at all. And for those of you who remember, I mean, there are exceptions with Dirk and Paul Gasol, but a lot of Euro players who came to the NBA, they couldn't adjust to the physicality and the speed of the game. So a lot of them were flops. I don't know if you guys remember Bargnani, flop. Y'all remember Milicic, flop. Y'all remember Andrew Bogut, flop. Ricky Rubio, the next big point guard, the next Steve Nash, didn't really pan out. Gallinari, decent. Anna Kenner, he's like an anti-LeBron James activist now. I'm not sure. Nothing special. So if you start going through the list of all these Euro players that were picked high in the draft, they didn't really pan out. So when people saw Luka getting picked fourth, there was a lot of questions. So this team went out on a limb. They went out on a limb and took a chance on you. They picked you fourth. They believed in you. And how'd you pay them back? You paid them back with burgers and calories. This team saw you for the last 5 years not take care of your body. They saw you for the last 5 years smoking and drinking beers. And you crying because they didn't want you? I agree with that. It's 100%. If a man, there's a saying, if a man shows you who they are, believe them. And there's a lot of teams that got players that showed them who they were. They still didn't believe them and still sent them to a long-term contract. Teams got smarter. See, teams started, after Kawhi's contract, barely playing, Embiid almost going into retirement. Every time he got to barely playing during the season, every time he got to the playoff, he couldn't move. He was getting tracked on by everybody. It's Zion, and he's more of I'm not even sure how many games did he play this year. I'm not even sure I even seen the dude on TV. He barely plays. Teams got smarter. They saw how all these bad contracts turned out for the team that signed them. They don't, and when they see red flags, now they're starting to act on it. They're a little more reactive than before. That's why you're seeing guys like Ja Morant on the trade block. Because teams that saw the red flags with Ja Morant, he doesn't want to win. He's always putting his team in bad situations. He's more in for the lifestyle than to win. And that's why the team is exploring the trade for him. And that's why these teams are way more reactive of red flags. So I agree with the man for trading Luka. Luka is the opposite of is the opposite of the quarterback from Baltimore, the Lamar Jackson. See, Lamar Jackson, he got the mindset. He wants to win. He got the discipline. He got the athleticism. He got the personality. What he doesn't have is the talent. He just doesn't have the arm talent. The man can't throw the ball. And Luka is the complete opposite. Luka got all the skills. What he doesn't have is the will to win. He doesn't have the athleticism. He doesn't want to win, and he's not disciplined. He cares more about eating burgers than winning a championship. And it's quite sad. Luka cannot win a championship. He will never win a championship. It's going to take a lot of luck for him to win. Because you cannot, in a tough league like the NBA, where there are all these great players, where you got all these analytics that read what you do, how you like to score, whether you like to drive with your left hand or your right hand. They got all these analytics. They're going to expose you. You can get away with it for a while, but eventually when you get to the conference final, when you get to the final, you're going to get exposed. You're going to play a team where you're going to have to guard, and Luka just cannot do that. And the Celtics are that team that will expose him, and that's if he even gets to the final. So the NBA got 4 categories of superstars. The first category is the best category. It's the category of the superstar who has the personality, the mentality. He wants to win. He wants to put in the work. That's the Brunson, the LeBron, the Stephen Curry, the SGA. That's a superstar that when you draft and you realize that he's that guy, You just pay him and you don't think twice. Then there's a second category. That's a category of the superstar who don't necessarily want to win super bad, but their talent is so overwhelming that they can end up winning anyways. That's the Kevin Durant and the Jokic. Then there's the third category of superstar. Those are the superstars who are very talented and they want to win, but they don't necessarily want to put in the work, or they have a big flaw in their game and that flaw keeps them from winning. That's the Russell Westbrook, the Allen Iverson, the Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady wanted to win. I remember there was that one playoff versus Utah Jazz where he came out and said, if we don't win this playoff, it's on me. But he was just lazy on the court. Didn't really play, didn't really put in the effort, wouldn't really defend. They ended up losing. So he wanted to win, but his ability to, his lack of effort and his lack of leadership, he just couldn't win. We saw that with Iverson when he came to Denver. With Marcus Camby in the net. Couldn't even get us out the first round. We get a less talented Chauncey Billups with better leadership, he takes better shots, smarter player, and we got to the conference final. So those are guys who are very talented. They're just flawed. Their game has a big flaw, and they're just never gonna get there. And but you can pay them. You can pay them because they'll put in the work and they'll entertain you. Then there's the fourth category. This is the category that you don't want. You know, when you're a day trader trading stocks, they tell you when you see a stock sinking or going down, cut your losses, move on and and survive to live to see another day. That's what you do when you see a guy in this category. This is the category of guys who don't care about basketball that much. They're just good. They're good, but they like the money and lifestyle. They don't really want to put in the work. This is the category of the James Harden and the Luka Doncic. These are guys that you don't want to pay because they're never going to get you anywhere. The Carmelo Anthony's. He's just there to score his points. He's just there because he's good. He likes the lifestyle, but he really wants to be a gambler. That's a superstar that you cut your loss short and you move on. The Clippers got three of them. They got Kawhi, they got Ben Simmons, and they got James Harden. And they really think they're going to win. I was watching the Clippers last night versus the Warriors. I'm watching this dude, Ben Simmons. This dude is literally playing basketball because he has to pay to get a salary and pay bills, I'm sure. I mean, this guy does not care. The effort isn't there. He doesn't even look to score. He basically gets the ball and wants to pass it. He's not running hard. These guys have shown the team that he's played for that he doesn't care about basketball. The Clippers are like, we got Kawhi, we got James Harden. That's not enough. Let's add one more. The more the merrier. They're never going to win. The Clippers are not going to win. They have no shots. I don't care who they add. Jesus, Moses, that roster they got is never going to win. So I applaud Dallas for the courage. Cut your losses short and move on. Live to see another day. So in society, we're always competing for stuff. We're competing for resources. We're competing for land. We're competing for jobs. We're competing for women. Women are also competing for men. So we're always in competition. Competition means value. So we all got a value in society. We all got a value at our jobs. See, value for men depends on how much they make. When you don't have a 9-to-5 job, in the savannah, that you're a squirrel. That means you don't matter. When you start getting closer to making 100K, that's when you become an antelope. That means nobody really fears you, but you have some value in the savannah. Because antelope is a good meat. When you start making over 100K, that's when you become a hyena. That means you get a little bit of respect, but you're not the top dog. When you start making over 150K, that's when you start getting respect. That's when you become a leopard. See, that means you're not the top dog, but you're getting close. That means you can go out there and hunt for any animal you want, but once you get your prey, you better go up in that tree and hide it before a lion come get it. Once you start making over 250K in society, that's when you become a lion in the savannah. That's when everybody fears you. Fear in the savannah equal respect in society. And this logic applies for women as well. See, women is a little different than men. Women, their value doesn't really depend on how much they make. It really depends on how good they look and their age. See, when you're 25 or under 25, you're Eddie V's. That means you can have a lot of kids. There's a lot of years ahead of you. You got a lot of value in society. When you start hitting over 30 years old, when you don't have a kid, you're like Texas Roadhouse. That means you ain't the top dog no more, or you ain't the top choice anymore. But you're still really good, and a lot of people still like you. When you're over 30 and you got a kid, that's when you become Chili's. That's when it start getting dangerous. And when you're over 35 years old, you better be married. Because if you are married, that's when you become the Salvation Army. That's when it gets real dangerous for women. Moral of the story is, we all got a value. And you have to understand what your value is and try to improve it. You can improve it by hitting the gym, by getting more educated. Women now are getting BBLs to try to increase their value. So you need to understand your value to try to understand, or to understand how to improve it, how to make it go higher. The danger is when you overestimate your value and you think you've gotten to a place that you haven't gotten there yet. That's when it gets dangerous. You know, the people who don't understand their values in society? It's the WNBA players. I don't understand. I saw a podcast where Angel Reese is making threats. If we don't give us what we want, if you don't give us the money that we're asking for, we're sitting down. We're not playing. See, I don't understand. See, I'm not even against what they're trying to do. Basically, there's a revenue, right, that comes from jersey sales, TV deals, and ticket sales, and it needs to be split between players and owners. See, in the NBA or the NFL or in hockey, the split is usually even. It's 50-50 or close to 50. In the WNBA, they're only getting 9%. That's not fair, considering they're doing most of the work, and the WNBA revenue has gone up this year. It's just not fair to say. It needs to be evaluated. And I'm not even sure the owners are against it. But for her to just come out and make all these threats as if the product is Gucci or Louis Vuitton, but it's really just Abercrombie, is crazy. It's ludicrous. And it will sound better if these statements actually came from a player who's been established in the league, has won something, or is a multiple-time all-star player. Just imagine if Bronny came out and started making threats to the NBA. How crazy would that sound? That's what it sounds when I see this girl making threats. Angel Reese is like Deion Sanders to me. See, Deion Sanders always wants to be on TV, talking. But the thing is, Deion Sanders is actually good at talking on TV. He's actually good at marketing. He just doesn't believe in the things that he says. Oh, I'm going to change course of history of black people, black players. I'm going to change JSU. Is JSU even on TV anymore since he left? No, I mean, we all knew that. So he didn't actually do anything. He just promoted himself. Oh, I'm never going to coach in the NFL. The NFL, these grown men make too much money. They're not coachable. But I promise you, if Jerry Jones gave him a job, he will start packing before he even make an announcement to Colorado State or Colorado. So this man says anything but doesn't believe in it. Angel Reese is actually not smart. She's actually very dumb. but she loves talk. And I don't understand that. She says, my bills is, I get paid 73K a year. That's not even enough to pay for my bills. So your bills should be taken into account when the WNBA is negotiating their deal. There's people in America who feed their family off of 73K a month, a year, or even less. So you better be grateful, because in a perfect world, the WNBA wouldn't exist. It's been around since the 90s. They've never had a profitable year. They get 50 million from the NBA every single year. In a perfect world, that wouldn't be happening. In the perfect world, I'm sorry, Angel Reese isn't smart enough to be some lawyer or working some fancy job. In a perfect world, her ceiling in society is Butter Girl or BBL and marry some rich dude. So for her to make all these crazy statements and this arrogance, it's just quite pathetic. And she doesn't understand the basics of economics. See, economics, there's supply and demand. The more demand there is, the more you supply. The more you supply, the more money you make. The problem is the demand isn't that high. The product it's not mature enough for you to make threats and try to sit out. And quite honestly, it's not good enough for it to become a global product where you're making the kind of money that you think you should be making. We saw Sabrina. Sabrina is one of the best players in the WNBA. We saw Sabrina being guarded by some high school kid in Asia, the Philippines. We saw Sabrina getting locked up by some high school kid in the Philippines. Mind you, the Philippines isn't even a basketball country. I'm not even sure the Philippines have a basketball NBA player. I don't think so. And Angel Reese conned every black person in the US into thinking she was a good basketball player. She got drafted 10th in the WNBA draft. She doesn't even know how to make layups. And you think that your product is good enough that you can make threats? The reason why the revenue in the WNBA went up is because she conned every black person into thinking that she was good. And then Caitlin Clark showed up, and all the white people thought, oh, that's the white savior. We don't have any white athletes in the NBA, so maybe we can take over the WNBA. So there's racial tensions. That's what made the WNBA revenues go up. So it's not because your product is good. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about over evaluating your value. They think their value is higher than it is, but it's not. So I hope that they come to an agreement, because I think that sitting now would destroy the WNBA. So let's go back to the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance. I hope y'all don't think I was going to forget. So I call Kendrick Lamar performance quite corny. Corny, full of contradiction. You can't come out and talk about social injustice while promoting gang violence with threatening lyrics. It just doesn't work. It's called a contradiction. That's like me coming out and criticizing divorce, but I beat my wife every night. It doesn't work that way. But we live in America where people got opinions. You can disagree with, you can agree with. You're never going to be in sync with everybody. Some people are going to agree with you, some people are going to disagree with you. Just like the other day, I was having a conversation with this girl. Mind you, this girl hasn't been in a relationship that lasted more than 1 year. She tried to tell me that your traits come from what day you were born in what month. Basically, Libras all have the same traits, and Virgos all have the same traits. I say, no, that's stupid. Your traits come from your DNA that you get from your mom and your dad, and it's modified by your surroundings and your and all the experience that you get to live through in your life. So if I was born in a rich family, I would most likely be lazy. It's got nothing to do with what year I was born in. But she seems to think that zodiac signs have something to do with that. I politely disagree, and that's that. And what was really sad is that a lot of black people came to my page with racist comments. Go back to your country. You're not American. That was so surprising for people who have been through racism and have been through so much in America. They started talking as if they were MAGA fans. But I was surprised, but I'm really not surprised because I'm a fan of history and I read a lot of history. And what I came to realize about human beings is that nobody's good and nobody's bad. It just all depends on where you are in the food chain and what benefits you. See, there's a Jamaican kid that used to have an Instagram. I'm not sure if he's on Instagram anymore, but he used to be a kid and used to make all these inspirational videos. And he said a sentence or something that stuck in my head for a long time. He said, you gotta work hard in life. You either gotta choose if you want to be the shark of the ocean or the fish of the ocean. See, when you're the shark of the ocean, that means you're at the top of the food chain. That means you make all the decisions and you can do whatever you want. That means whatever is bad about you, it gets to come out because you're in a position of power. But see, when you're the fish of the sea, everything that's bad about you, it gets hidden because you're not in a position of strength because you're a victim. But the day you become in a position of strength, everything that's bad about you will show up. So at the end of the day, we are racist as a society. Everybody, every race, Chinese, black, white, Asian, we are racist. The difference is where you are in the food chain. See, when you're at the bottom of the food chain, you can be racist. When you're at the top of the food chain, you can't. I hope that didn't fly. I hope that didn't fly over your guys' head. But let's go back to the event. You know what that performance reminded me of? It reminded me of The Gladiator. For those of you who didn't watch the movie Gladiator, Gladiator was basically an event organized in ancient Rome by the emperor. So the emperor enjoyed himself having this event where people whose lives didn't matter in society, the slaves, the war prisoners, they basically fought each other to death. So basically the emperor had fun watching people whose lives didn't matter kill themselves to death. In this instance, the emperor is Apple and UMG. They're the real winner in this whole thing. You got all these uneducated people who came to my comment section, who are gonna come to this comment section and say all these crazy things. You make $25 working at Ross. You're gonna wake up tomorrow, you still gonna be at Ross. You know who made a lot of money? Apple and UMG, they're twerking in money. While you slaving at some bullshit job, defending these corny dudes being used as a puppet. My goodness. Apple made so much money doing this. They give you this great deal. Oh, Kendrick Lamar is our big artist. Come to our platform. We got all this exclusive content about him that we can show you guys if you sign up to our platform. Oh, by the way, if you're at the stadium, you can get Shazam. And if you're listening to the performance and you don't know what song it is, you can go on Shazam and Shazam will tell you what song it is. And while you're doing it, we're going to offer you another great deal. Come on over. Checkmate. That's what that's called. Checkmate. They basically made a lot of money while black artists were killing each other. But Christian, maybe you're wrong. Maybe UMG, you don't know who owns UMG. Maybe UMG made a lot of money by some black-owned company. Okay, let's look at that. UMG is a Dutch company. It's 28% owned by the Dolores family. Now, Dolores doesn't really sound black to you, right? So clearly damn black. It's 10% is owned by Wnba, a French investment company. And 20% is owned by a Chinese company. Basically, Kendrick Lamar made the French a lot of money and the Chinese a lot of money. While you're still working at Ross defending this man. We live in a society where we can't have a conversation anymore. We can't agree to disagree. We can't have an intellectual debate. It's either I agree with you, agree with me, or I hate you. And that's the problem. We're actually just dumber than we used to be. And quite honestly, I blame social media. I blame all these goofy shows that are coming out like Pop the Balloons. These are the type of shows that are dumbing people down. Instead of people reading, now you're having people watching these goofy shows that teach you nothing. And the hypocrisy of our society. See, I'm not a Lamar Jackson fan. I don't think he's any good. I don't think he's accurate. I don't think he sees the field well. I don't think he anticipates well. I don't think he's a good quarterback. He has shown us year after year that you can give him Moses, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, Buddha. He can't win. He gets struck on every year. And so when I call him a Mazda, everybody's mad. Oh, he's a black quarterback. Don't criticize a black quarterback. It be your own people. But it's okay for Kendrick Lamar to go out there and call another black artist pedo, right? It's okay for him to try to destroy another black man's career, huh? That's okay. That's when I will go back to what I said earlier. See, human nature, it hasn't evolved. See, we're selfish people. Our vision of things, our opinion depends on what benefits us, what makes our lives better, what makes us happy. It's not about what's right or wrong. And you know a group of people who are like that we criticize every day? Trump fans, MAGA. See, these are people who don't think, right? Everything Trump says goes. Trump can come out here and say that working out is not good and they'll believe it. And we're not that different. When it's Lamar Jackson, oh, let's protect him because we like him. When it's Drake, oh, we don't care. He's a pedo. And that wasn't even a diss song. That was a gossip song. Drake actually came out with a diss song. This man came out here with gossips. It's a kind of talk, it's a kind of crazy statement you hear at the barbershop, where you hear some goofy dude talking about how Obama eats babies, or how Jeffrey Epstein is still alive, how Tupac is with Africa. It's the kind of crazy statements that we get to hear in crazy places like that. And he actually brought that to music, and it was quite corny. Drake's kids are going to have to live with that label. That's not a label that you can get rid of easily. That's a dangerous label that will stick on you. And see, Drake's kids are going to have to go to school hearing people make fun of their dad all the time. Your dad is a pedo. And see, that joke can turn into a trauma. But that's not a problem, right? It doesn't fit your narrative because you don't like Drake. It's quite pathetic. And if we go back to history, right? Or if we go back to music, you're going to notice that Drake has helped more black artists than Kendrick Lamar, or just artists in general. Jack Harlow, Party Next Door, The Weeknd. Did you know The Weeknd's first gig in the music industry was when he wrote lyrics in Drake's album? I think it was Thank Me Later. That was the first gig he got in the music industry. That's what got him in. And now Kendrick is a great artist, known everywhere. Kendrick Lamar used to be in a rap group called Black Hippie with Absol, Schoolboy Q, and J-Rock. Now, Schoolboy Q had a decent career. I think he came out with a few hits. Oxymoron, Man of the Year. What happened to Absol? What happened to J-Rock? Why didn't he help them? Why don't they have great careers? J-Rock couldn't fill a Walmart parking lot on a free concert. But yeah, let's kick down the black artist who helps a lot of people, right? And people like me, I'm supposed to dumb myself down and forget about all these parameters and forget about all these facts to make y'all feel good, right? We're supposed to dumb ourselves down and just close our eyes. Oh, it's Kendrick Lamar. He talked about us. He's with us. When logic and all the facts shows otherwise. Kendrick Lamar, I hope you're watching me. Or I hope one day you watch me. And I hope I want to tell you this. I hope you go get educated about life, about history, about what that dance that you were showing on your stage, what that has done to people in LA, how many people gang violence has killed, and it's still killing today. You're corny.
This has been The Guru. Unapologetic and unfiltered opinions on the hottest sports stories. Breaking everything down from basketball and football to soccer and the UFC. And might we add, your host is always right. Just ask him. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on TikTok and Instagram. He's gonna stop talking for now. See you next time on The Guru.